Dinner that night was supposed to be ordinary. My brother insisted on hosting more often since his business started doing well. His house was large enough to fit everyone comfortably, and our parents liked the sense of occasion he created. Long table, good food, too many plates for a casual Sunday. My children liked it too, at least at first. My 10-year-old daughter sat beside me, trying to balance her glass of juice without spilling it on the tablecloth. My younger son was quietly pushing rice around his plate. The conversation drifted between business, property prices, and travel plans my brother and his wife were making. I had already learned my role in those conversations, mostly quiet, occasionally polite. Then my brother leaned back in his chair and looked across the table at my children. "Just remember something," he said casually, as if sharing advice. "Your mom is the family failure. She'll never amount to anything." The words landed too cleanly. For a second, no one moved. My daughter's face changed first. The confusion came before the tears. She looked at me as if she had heard something she wasn't sure she understood correctly. Then she started crying, soft at first, then harder, the kind of crying children try to hide but can't. I pulled her close and rubbed her back. "It's okay," I whispered. Across the table, my brother chuckled lightly as if the moment would dissolve on its own. No one corrected him. My parents looked uncomfortable but said nothing. His wife focused on her plate. I didn't respond to him. My daughter needed me more than I needed to win an argument. We left early that night. On the drive home, she kept asking the same question in different ways. Why did he say that? I told her the only honest thing I could. Sometimes people confuse loud success with real worth. She fell asleep before we reached home, her face still damp. I carried her inside and sat in the living room for a long time afterward. My brother had always been the visible success, the one who built things that people could point to, offices, staff, expansion plans. I had chosen something quieter, steadier work, smaller decisions, less noise. Over time, the family story formed around those choices. He was the ambitious one. I was the one who settled. Stories like that harden when no one challenges them. Monday morning was quiet. I had just poured coffee when my phone rang. The number was unfamiliar. "Hello?" A professional voice answered. "Good morning. I'm calling regarding an emergency shareholder meeting today." There's a brief pause. "The majority shareholder requested it." For a moment, I didn't respond. "Yes," I said eventually. "I'm aware." Years earlier, my brother's company had nearly collapsed during its second year. Cash flow problems, a bank refusing additional credit. He came to me then, not proudly, not publicly, asking if I could help. I invested what savings I had accumulated slowly over time, enough to stabilize the company during its worst quarter. The lawyer structured it carefully. Equity instead of repayment. Majority equity. At the time, I told him it didn't matter. He should run the company exactly the way he believed was best, and he had. The meeting was held in a conference room that smelled faintly of printer paper and coffee. When my brother walked in, he looked irritated more than worried. His partner sat beside him, already flipping through documents. Then my brother noticed me. His expression changed slightly, confusion replacing annoyance. "You're here?" he asked. I nodded. The chairperson cleared her throat and began the meeting. Legal language first, financial summaries, the kind of structured conversation where emotion rarely survives. Halfway through, the topic shifted to leadership decisions and financial direction. Then the chairperson said the sentence that mattered: "As majority shareholder, the final decision will rest with Miss Raza." My brother turned slowly. For a moment, it seemed like he was waiting for someone to correct her. No one did. The documents were on the table in front of him, signed years ago. Real. Undeniable. The room stayed quiet while everyone waited for my response. I remembered my daughter crying. I also remembered something else. The version of my brother who once sat across from me years ago asking for help when everything was falling apart. People are rarely only one thing. "I'm not here to embarrass anyone," I said calmly. The chairperson nodded slightly. "I'm here because the company needs stability. We discussed operational adjustments, financial safeguards, and oversight procedures. Nothing dramatic. Just the kind of decisions that protect businesses from their own momentum. My brother spoke very little. The meeting ended within an hour. No speeches, no confrontation, just signatures and quiet understanding. As we gathered our things, he finally spoke. You could have told people. I considered that. I didn't think it mattered. He looked down at the table. For the first time in years, he had no quick response. That evening, I picked my daughter up from school. She was cheerful again, already talking about a class project. Children move forward faster than adults. At dinner, she looked up at me and asked, "Are you really a failure?" I smiled slightly. "No." She studied my face carefully, as if verifying the answer. Then she nodded and went back to eating. The story my brother told at that dinner table still existed, but it didn't feel quite as powerful anymore. Some truths don't need to be announced loudly. Sometimes they simply sit in the room, quiet, steady, impossible to ignore.